Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the third episode of the Wake Back to podcast, streamed right here from the Night Realm Discord server. Today, we are joined by the one and only Naiya. Welcome, Naiya.
Hello.
Okay, so we all know Naiya from Mild, from everything she did on Dream Views, but most of you don't know her personally. So, Naiya, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay. Well, my real name I will not reveal, but my online name is Naya. I'm 33. I'm married. I'm a biochemist, and I work for a big evil pharmaceutical company. Let's see. I have two cats, and I live in California.
Okay, so you just said you work for a big bad pharmacy company.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean? Like, should I be worried?
Oh no, everybody thinks pharmaceutical is always evil, so that's just the way it is.
All right, all right. Well, so okay, thank you. Well, I finally got in touch with Naya through our good friend Sensei, and she's also in the Night Realm Discord server. So if you wanna like ask her some questions, like everyone does, you can go stalk her. It's very easy. You click her and then press send message, and there we go. So the Discord link will be down in the description. So we know, as I said, we know Naya from Mild, from her Mild. It's the Naya's Mild technique as we know it. We are really curious as to how you came up with the usage of mnemonics to get yourself lucid in a dream. Could you explain how
Sure.
you got to that thought that it would work?
Yeah. So it was kind of an organic process, I guess, because I started when I was 12, which I think I'm already answering one of the questions, but this is part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was going to school for her master's in clinical psychology, and she took a class where they talked about lucid dreaming. So she came home and she told my brother and I, "Oh, you can be lucid in your dreams, and you can do whatever you want. Um, and all you have to do is look at your hand and she taught me to look at my hands, reality check. That's all I had. Okay, you kids have all this great stuff. All I had all I had in my day was look at my hands. So
Well,
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
if
Mhm.
I'm gonna be honest,
Yeah.
doesn't that make it a lot easier? Because
I mean, maybe. Yeah.
we say that that the dream state is a lot about intention and suggestion and belief. So if you just believe that by looking at your hands, you'd be
Yeah.
able to get lucid. Because nowadays people read like too much about lucid dreaming, so they'd be like, okay, so I gotta spin around to make my dream stable. If I worry about
Yeah.
waking up, I'll wake up, and then they just wake up and they're like, why did I just get lucid? I think it just makes it a lot easier that you just think, okay, I look at my hands and I'm lucid. I can do everything I want.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point. And also I think being 12 years old helped, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, definitely.
because
Especially if
kids,
you hear it from your parents.
yeah, they're like, oh, okay, I believe that, all right. So that's what I did. My mom also taught me like a really basic kind of relaxation meditation. I don't know if you ever seen sort of the head to toe, like you tense up each muscle and then you relax each one and sort of meditate.
So are you talking
So I
about
did
like
that.
the meditation with like the points on your body that you had to like focus
Yeah, it's
on,
very similar. Yeah, it's very similar to that.
or just like relaxing
So
every part of your body one by one and just like
you do,
turning
yeah, one
off?
by one. Yeah, you kind of relax each part of your body.
Okay,
So it's
okay.
very kind of very simple. She just thought it was neat and told us, but I became obsessed. I became obsessed, and I wanted to lucid dream so bad every single day. So I was reality checking, but also um, for a lot of my daytime hours at school and being bored and walking home because I had to walk to and from school by myself, I would think about like, what am I going to do in my dreams? It's going to be cool. What would I want to do? I thought about that obsessively all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I would do it before I went to bed, which is kind of where I came to that being more of like a mild, because that's years later I found out that Stephen LaBerge essentially has kind of like the exact same method, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's only so many things you could do, I'm sure, so I sort of just stumbled into it by myself. But I would have a hard time falling asleep at night. Like maybe it would take me 20 minutes, and it still does. So I sit there and I just lay there and think about it. Sometimes I'll use my most recent dream, which is very effective. A lot of times I'll use, because I have pretty good recall, so I'll just go back to the most recent dream, whether it was lucid or not lucid, and just imagine myself there and try to continue on, the adventure, basically. Or sometimes I would just invent whatever I wanted to do, like, I want to travel back in time in history and go explore, like, cool, like, I want to do this or that, like, that's what I would do for, until I fell asleep, right? And I can't remember how long really it took me before I was just doing that every night and I was lucid every night. I want to say I started around 12, and by the time I hit like high school at 14, I was probably lucid dreaming almost every night. It was very, very frequent by then. So yeah, it didn't take super long, I feel like. So yeah, that's a short version of it. Yeah.
That's short. Easy. So yes, so you have a longer explanation of that as well.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's a simple technique. That's why it's so beautiful, I guess. You don't want to overcomplicate it too much.
So basically, if we summarize everything, basically what you said is, at the point that you hit the pillow, you just so you thought while you were unable to fall asleep for 20 minutes, which was long for you, you just thought about what you were going to do while you eventually fell asleep, and that's how you got yourself lucid.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a part of it. I was doing some other things too, looking back, that now I realize really helped my awareness in general. For example, I was always checking the time because, like I said, since I was in middle school, I had to walk myself to and from school. So, I had to be aware of my own schedule and, getting up on time and going to all my activities and everything by myself. So I was always checking the time, and that's a really good reality check. So, because at least for my dreams, if I check the clock twice in a row,
they are always
it's
at a different
never going to
time.
be the same, right? And that's a perfect, reality check, basically. And then for the same kind of thing in my mind, I would think back, like, what was I just doing? What am I doing next? And that's a really good awareness and reality check, because you ask yourself, what was I doing just before this? How did I get here? Did I, come here on a moose that was flying, or did I drive here in my car? And I can remember the whole sequence of events from waking up all the way up until now, and it all makes sense. People I feel like don't do that, because if you do it when you're dreaming, you'll actually, if you keep going back and back and back, and that's part of the mnemonic thing, right? Your mnemonic is remembering to remember, basically. So you're thinking back and back, and you're thinking, oh, the last thing that I did was go to sleep, And a lot of times that's exactly how I'd get lucid. Oh yeah, I remember going to sleep. So obviously I'm dreaming now because I'm sleeping,
So basically the reason that you use a mantra, like an affirmation before you go to bed. I don't want to call it a mantra, because that's usually something you want to do for your entire life. It's like a goal you want to strive to.
Yeah.
But for the affirmation, so basically what you're saying is, you want to, while you're in a dream, you want to think back to the time when you were falling asleep, and then you'd eventually remember, oh right, when I was falling asleep, I was telling myself I'm dreaming. So maybe that's a hint, and I'm dreaming right now, and then you do a reality check and find out you're actually dreaming.
Yeah, that's definitely a big part of it. Yeah, as you're falling asleep, you can think, I am dreaming, not I will have a lucid dream, but I am dreaming right now.
Because basically what a lot of people say is the reason that they use mantras is just because while you're falling asleep, your subconscious will take over the mantra and repeat it in your dream. But that's not the case, innit?
It can be. I mean, for when I do auto-suggestion, I usually do, I am dreaming, I am dreaming, I am dreaming, and when I visualize being in a lucid dream, that kind of really drives it home, doesn't it? Because I'm a visual person. So
same.
If I visualize myself in a dream and I'm remembering what literally was a recent dream that I have a really good memory of, that makes it even more kind of like a realistic expectation, right? So I think that's what makes it so strong, you know. So to do this technique, it really does help to have a dream journal and work on your recall, know your dream signs, and then just throughout the day, kind of always be aware where you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it, you know, all that stuff.
Because that's
right?
hard for a lot of people
Yeah, I know.
to be
I
aware and
know.
get out of that zombie state of being unconsciously conscious, if I may call it
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
So that's also a big part of Mount, you'd say, like all day awareness, or well, not all day, but
Yeah.
most of the day, because being aware for the entire day is just, it's not gonna, well, it might happen to you if you're like a monk or something, but
Yeah.
all day
That's true.
awareness, like you'll drift away eventually. But okay, so if we want to summarize or make like a step-to-step guide for becoming lucid with Mount, because you also use wake back to beds, right? Did you use them at the beginning of your
Yes.
lucid dreaming as well?
Yeah, I've actually never slept through the night in my whole life.
Mm.
Actually, that's a lie. I slept through the night once. I think I was 12 or 13. I still remember it.
Oh, I thought when you were
I'm
like
so
drunk.
confused.
That
No,
that
no,
would work.
even when I drink.
Wait,
Even
or
when I drink
no?
heavily, I still wake. Yeah, I do. I'll only sleep like 4 or 5 hours, and then I wake up, and then I've actually done wild while drunk, and I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, yeah, you
So,
told me yesterday.
um, yeah,
Definitely. But okay,
um,
so about wake back to beds,
yeah.
like
Hmm.
you say you don't sleep a whole night
No, I
in
usually
one part.
sleep maybe 3 to 5 hours, 5 hours on a really good night. I'm really tired,
Mm.
and I wake up naturally probably, oh, at least 3 to 5 times after that. So pretty much after every sleep cycle, you know how you go through the whole
Mhm.
deep sleep and all of the different stages, and then you wake up right after the dream stage.
Mhm.
So I think I'm just waking up after everyone. So
How
unfortunately,
does
I'm a
that
light
disturb
sleeper.
your sleep or
Yes, it
like your
does.
rest?
I have been prescribed sleeping pills, and I've
Ah,
attempted to use them. They don't
mela-
really work. So,
melatonin,
yeah, I've tried melatonin. I've tried like the good stuff. It just doesn't. I
the
don't like
good
the side
stuff.
effects. Yeah.
I've been on
Trazodone. It's not
weed,
really that bad. Yeah.
narcotics.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so
No.
oh, because like recently, I've actually have stepped down from doing two wake back to beds a night to only one, because I felt my sleep, like my rest, becoming less, and as I am a really busy student, I do not have much time to sleep. Well, I do. I have eight
Right.
hours, but I can't afford to lose any of the, or well, like a lot of those 8 hours by doing two wake back to beds.
Yeah, I
So
understand
I
that.
tuned it down to one, and I just immediately felt so much better after
Yeah.
waking up. But yeah, I actually never knew that even at a natural awakening, it would disturb your rest.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. I do people that can sleep through the night. Like my husband, he just sleeps like a rock, and I get so mad. It's not fair.
Okay,
It's
so
okay.
yeah, it definitely is a good thing if you can sleep through the whole night. So, um, preparation for mild. We've talked about repeating an affirmation before you go to sleep, then
Hmm.
continuing with visualizing a dream scene that you've already had and you turn it into a lucid one, or you visualize
Hmm.
yourself getting lucid, or visualize just a thing you want to do while lucid.
Yes.
So, do you do that at the point of a wake back to bed as well?
Yes. Yeah, I do generally. I do it the first time, and every other time I wake up and go back to sleep. Yeah, because it still takes me a long time to fall asleep. If I wake up,
Oh,
it takes
really?
it's not as bad. It's not like 20 minutes, but it'll take me like 5+ minutes. So that's enough time for me to go ahead and do the mild again. I might as
Mm-hmm.
well, you know.
Yeah, of course, of course, of course. But uh,
Yeah.
but I feel like that every time when you wake up, you basically reset your affirmation. If that
Mhm.
makes
Yeah.
sense. Like I think it's really
Yeah.
important to do wake back to beds if you want to be consistent at lucid dreaming, because
Yeah.
because of course every time you wake up, you go like basically straight into a dream. If you wake up from an
Right.
REM state or a dream, so you'll be way more aware because you know you're going to be dreaming.
Yeah,
Which,
that's pretty accurate.
but do you think that people would be able to have consistent lucid dreams without doing wake back to beds?
Oh yeah, I think so because my husband can do it, and I told you he never wakes up
Wait.
ever. I taught
Does he
him,
have
and
multiple
he
lucid
has
dreams a night?
dreams. No, he's not as consistent as I am, but he's only been learning for a few years, really, So, but he can do it, yeah, if he really wants to. So I
So,
think it's possible.
so he
Yeah.
basically sleeps a whole night and then has like a lucid dream at the end of his sleep.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, he only sleeps about 6 hours on
Oof.
average, like total. I know.
That's
I don't
so
understand.
bad.
I know. Anyway.
I'm
But, yeah,
not
that's
sure
part
if
of
you've
it.
seen the Joe Rogan Experience with Matthew Walker.
Mhm.
There was like this amazing thing that he said about the amount of people that would be able to survive a lifetime on 6 hours of sleep. And I think the way he said that was so beautiful, because what he said was the amount of people that can consistently survive on 6 hours of sleep is statistically seen and rounded down to a whole number, 0. Because you need
That sounds about right.
you just, it's so important to sleep those 2 extra hours and then have like maybe 5 years extra to live.
Well, I know. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. But I've met people before that, yeah, they just don't sleep as much. It's great. And everybody tells me I sleep too much. It makes me so mad.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
sleep
so
too much.
we
Yeah.
talked about mild. I think
Sure.
the steps to mild are very, very simple. You just need to do it a lot and then work with trial and error and see what you do wrong, see how you can improve. Be consistent
Right.
is what you like to say, right?
Yeah, you really have to do it every single night. See, what I see people doing is they'll start with mild, right? They'll do it for like a week or two, get frustrated. Now, oh, forget that. I'm gonna do wild now. Okay, they try that, doesn't work. Get frustrated, so they kind of skip around, back and forth, and then they'll come to me and they'll speak like, "Naiya, I've been trying for months. I don't understand. What am I doing wrong? I tried everything." I'm like, your problem is that you tried everything. You should have just stuck to one thing. It doesn't matter what it is, but if you had stuck to one thing for that 6 months, or whatever, then you probably would have made more progress, right?
Yeah, definitely. There was this guy in our
It's-
Discord server.
Yeah.
Like, he literally came into the server and he was like, "Guys, I am not able to lucid dream."
I've
He-
heard that one before.
And then I said, "Okay, what are you trying?" He said, "Okay, so yesterday I did wild, and the day before that I did filed, and then I did senses, and then
Everything.
mild, and it just didn't work. I didn't get lucid." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, so what do you think is the problem? Do you think it's the methods or you?" He said, "It's definitely the methods. They don't work for me."
Everything else is the problem. It's not.
And I literally and I literally just stopped the conversation, and I was like, "Go think." Dot.
So you're a musician, so you'll definitely understand this. But when people say this, it's like saying, "Well, I can't. I'm not musical. I can't do it." And then you ask, "Well, what did you try?" "Well, I tried the trumpet one day and a violin the other day, and the other day I tried to sing." I was like, "But you didn't stick to any one, did you?"
Yeah, but that
If you master
but that's with
one,
everything.
then maybe you could, start kind of being good at some of the other ones.
Yep.
But you have to you kind of really just have to pick one.
Yeah. Definitely,
So I
but
tell
that's
people,
with
like,
everything.
add techniques, don't subtract.
Yeah.
If you feel like you can add stuff, like say you're starting with mild, and then you're okay, I'm going to supplement that with our reality checking RCs. Like, fine, that's good. But don't subtract, because you really can ruin all the progress that you might have been making. And even though it's not visible progress, it's there. So it's just like practicing an instrument.
Yeah.
You
So what's really important
Anyway.
is remember every night that you try something, it's progress. It doesn't matter if you don't remember a dream when you're trying to up your recall, if you're not being lucid when you're trying to get lucid. Every night is progress. And as long as you get
Right.
frustrated about things not working, it's not gonna work. Because you need to be
Yeah.
positive and you need to enjoy what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we got to get away from this mentality of I failed last night, right? Or whatever. I know y'all do it, right? But, if you did your practice, then you succeeded. There is no failure here, right? So as long as you did your practice, whether or not you had a lucid dream or anything, you succeeded because you're building on your own success. So you try to get into that mentality, right?
That's
I
definitely.
think that will help.
I have a really good example about that, and that's probably me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, as a lot of people know, I've been trying for a year now, and I've had 3 lucid dreams, which for a
Yeah.
lot of people is not much. And that's the reason. I think 2 months ago, I got really frustrated, and I thought I was doing
Yeah.
everything wrong. I saw my recall going down. I got even more frustrated, and then I just had
Oh, no.
no dreams for weeks.
Wow.
And everything
Oh,
I
no.
tried was just making me more frustrated. And then I just said, okay, I'm taking a week break.
Yeah.
Just let everything go. Don't care about dreaming. And then I got lucid. And
Yeah.
and then I was like,
That's
wait,
funny.
isn't this like a mental barrier I just created for myself? Because I actually got lucid after smoking weed that night. That exact night I got lucid.
That is so funny. That is so funny. Wow.
So I said that to you, Kiv, and I was like, okay, this doesn't make sense. Why do I get lucid when I'm not trying and smoking weed and doing everything that God has forbidden to being able to dream? And then he was like, aren't you sure you're just like having an insane mental barrier for yourself? And I was like, oh, that does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, right now I'm having, I think 2 or 3 dreams a night, really vivid. I
That's good.
feel like I'm getting lucid soon. I've told you that. I didn't get lucid tonight, but I had a super vivid dream. So it's still, you just have to remember that everything you do, it's like a hobby, and dedication and hard work will be paid off. But don't stress about not being able to do much.
Yeah, definitely. Just like you were saying, just enjoy it. Just start your dream journal and journal your dreams, and, focus on that. And yes, do your practice every night, but don't worry about, it'll come, sooner or later. So I think that's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, we had a couple of viewer questions, and you've already answered 3 of them in just your
Yay.
introduction, which was how did you find out about lucid dreaming?
Yeah.
At what age did you start, and how did you come up with your mouth technique? We've already said those, so now I have 3 more.
Okay.
And this one is, I think, from Nightfly. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's from Nightfly. He asked, what is your biggest goal in life?
Yeah. I wonder if he means in my real life or my dream life.
How about we do both?
I don't know. Okay. Oh, okay. Those are both really hard. So, I don't know. I think, I'm kind of at the age where I'm less goal oriented. I've completed a lot of my smaller goals. I finished my degree and I got married and bought a house and kind of a lot of that stuff. And I'm trying to now focus on, my hobbies. So I think really the only thing left would be maybe retire early and focus on my hobbies and write a book or, stuff, those kinds of things. There's nothing really big and cool, I guess. But yeah, just want a nice, comfortable life, I guess. That's all.
Yeah, just be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
That's all I want.
then in your lucid life.
Yeah, okay, that's a hard one. I think in the beginning, I really started out, my big goal was, it was doing fun stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I was 12 and I wanted to throw fireballs at people, and I have succeeded in that, so kind of moved on. But I think kind of answering some of the big philosophical questions, answering some spiritual questions, that we all think about. Those are my big goals, really. Getting the answers for myself, not hearing them from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be Christian and, religious, very religious as a teenager, and I've kind of moved away from that because, you know, I think getting those answers from another person or a book written by another person,
Hmm.
it just wasn't helping me. I felt like I needed to find it for myself. So, yeah, I think that's my big goal. Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
Hmm.
that sounds like a really cool goal, and I'm really looking forward to you achieving that because I love when people achieve their goals. Um, okay, so how do you be consistent when you're practicing lucid dreaming or well, yeah, lucid dreaming. This is by Bryce the
Yeah.
Bucket, by the way. He's got 18 lucid dreams right now.
Oh, nice. You just have to make yourself do it. There's no other way. You have to make time. For me, it's a very strict bedtime, and a certain someone in my household hates it because he's always, I want to watch one more episode of Netflix. Nope, it's bedtime. Good night, love you. Watch it without me. I don't care. Like, I have to. I go to bed. I'm very, consistent on my bedtime because I think that increases, especially for me, because I have terrible sleep quality. I've got to do as much as I can to make my sleep quality as good as I can, right? So, yeah, going to bed at a consistent time, giving yourself time between the bedtime and the actual sleep time to
Hmm.
do your technique, and telling everybody in the household to leave you alone, you know, like finding that space for yourself,
Hmm.
right? Um, and then just, yeah, I mean, so I think that if you structure it that way, then it's easy to get into the habit, and where it's like brushing your teeth or taking a shower. You always find time for that, right?
Hmm.
You know,
It's true.
because it's important to you and you've made it a habit. So just make it one of those things. It's a thing that I do every day, you know, and that way it'll kind of keep coming, and then you won't even think about it. You'll just, okay, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna do my lucid dreaming technique, and then I'm gonna get lucid tonight, and I'm gonna have good dreams, and I'm gonna remember them tomorrow, and hopefully I'll journal them, maybe, you know.
Hmm.
So I think that's the way to do it. I don't know.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. And then the last question we have for you, this is actually from me, um,
Okay.
is do you use your mnemonics for anything else than lucid dreaming?
I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, in what way? You know,
Well, like let's say
could
auto
you give me?
suggestion. Do you use it for anything else than being able to get lucid?
Um, I mean, I don't have the best memory, so I guess I use it for other things in my daily life and for my job. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that.
Because basically what I
You know.
did is I used it to up my recall as well. I just told myself instead of I'm gonna get
Ah.
lucid, I just said to myself, okay, when I wake up, I will remember a dream.
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, yeah, I do. I do use like some of the sort of auto suggestion, for like anxiety or things like that. If I'm not sure I can do something, I tell myself it's gonna work, especially at my job because I do a lot of testing in the lab. So if it's a really crappy test, it fails half the time,
Hmm.
I'll sit there and be like, it's gonna work, it's gonna pass, it's gonna be a beautiful number. Like
Mm.
that's so I guess if that counts, I don't know.
Mm.
You know.
Have you ever used lucid dreaming to solve something in your lab to like solve a problem you've had?
Oh gosh.
Because the
Trying to think if there's anything work related. I have used it to solve things in the past, yes. Um, but more general kind of life problems or to improve on things. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything. Sometimes, yeah, if I have a problem in the lab, having an assay failing, I'll try to dream about it and ideas on what's going wrong.
hmm
But I can't really recall any specific case where, I got a big answer that that was the answer. Unfortunately, a lot of time in science, everything is supposed to work all the time. That's what we tell you people. like, like a lot of times it just doesn't work, and we don't know why, and then we never find out. And it just goes on for years. So anyway, yeah. But yeah, I have used it for other things though. I've used it to practice martial arts, which I'm not very good at. So, but I'm trying to learn, and I've learned a couple things over the years. So you can use it to practice that, and I know a lot of people who do. I use it to practice music, so it's definitely helped there. And those kinds of. I think that when it comes to sort of any sort of artistic things, coming up with songs, a lot of people I know, they'll use their lucid dreams for that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, I knew a guy on Dreamviews. He was an architect, and he would sketch
No way.
buildings in his dreams. Yeah, it was really cool. I don't know if he was able to really use them in his work because they're so fantastical, but I always thought it was so brilliant, So people say, oh, there's no practical use for this, but that's wrong. There are a lot of practical uses for it, actually.
There's
So,
no
cool.
way that guy just sketched full buildings while in a lucid
He did.
dream.
It's still, I know he sketched these not full, schematics, but he would, draw pictures of the things that he saw, and it was just so cool, And he told people because he had some naysayers. Said no, I really do have. Sometimes I dream about buildings, and I use some of those ideas in my real work, basically.
Wow.
So I thought that was super cool. Yeah.
Yeah. That's incredible. That's
I know.
wow. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's also a good way to end the podcast for today. With
Yeah, I think
an
so.
amazing story. Well, well, as we've come to the end of the podcast after 32 minutes, Naiya, thank you very much for being a guest
thank you for
on my
having me.
podcast. Yeah, of course. I really enjoyed it. As I've said, if you guys want to talk to Naiya or any of the other insane lucid dreamers we have in our Discord, the link will be down in the description. And yeah, that was it. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment if you have a question, and I'll make sure to answer it when I've got the time. And yeah, for the second time, thank you very much, Naiya.
Thank you.